future trends, deep insights, industry leaders. This is the iGaming Next podcast with your host, Pierre Lindh.
Welcome back to iGaming Next Online.
There's not just one goal, there's multiple goals. Ignore dilution if the deal's good, because you'll make more from a bigger pot.
It wasn't that people preferred the office or preferred remote. They actually preferred the option.
In other words, COVID-19 is giving us a glimpse into the future.
All right, Alex. How's it going? Cheers to you, my friend.
Hey, Pierre.
Yeah.
How's it going?
We don't have gin and tonic in this, but maybe next time.
Who knows? They don't have to know exactly what's in there, right?
Disclaimer. Yes, disclaimer. How's everything going, buddy? Everything is good?
Yeah, very good. I came to Malta on Saturday, going back on Saturday. Very nice to see the island again.
Yeah.
A little bit different because there's nothing open, basically.
No.
And it's opening up next Monday. But
Yeah.
very nice, actually, to be back here.
Yeah. Did you ever live in Malta at some point?
Yeah, like 10 years ago maybe. But I think the longest I've done was 1 month or 6 weeks, something like that. It wasn't neither like living, you know?
Well, I'll tell you something, Alex. In 4 days' time, I'm celebrating 10 years in Malta.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, 2011, right?
Yeah.
2011.
And every time someone asks me, how long have you lived in Malta? And then I say, yeah, nearly 10 years. And then they say, wow. And that's how I feel in my head when I say it at the same time. I'm like, oh my goodness, it's been 10 years already.
Yeah, but that, I think the island has been good to you, right?
Yes, for sure. I mean, it's like, I started, when I was like 17 in this industry, like playing poker and these sort of things. And then kind of got to know a lot of people. But I always knew that I would end up in Malta.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like I was here working as a poker reporter before I moved here like 12, 13 years ago. And when you're younger as well, like you experience Patcherville for the first time and the parties and everything.
I remember that.
Yeah. How can you not, right? So I always knew that I would eventually end up in Malta, but I didn't know that I would stay here for this long. I don't think no one does when they move to Malta, really.
No, right.
Yeah.
But it's the case of every migrant. I was reading something about it. I mean, 20 years ago maybe, and my parents, when they moved from Serbia to Paris, they were coming for 1 year. The migrants they always come from 1 year, and then they buried there at the end. I mean, they stay there, they have kids, they go on holiday in their native country. I assume that's what you do, and they probably die there. It's typically a migrant thing.
Yeah, and it was the same with our friend Igor. He came to Malta. Our friend Igor Samardziski used to be the CEO of Nexus Gaming Intelligence. He came to Malta, I think something like 21 years ago or something like that.
Yes, but he came with his parents, right? So they came with him, right?
No, he came here as a refugee from Serbia. He came here as a refugee from the Serbian from the conflict that was in Serbia in the early 2000s or whatever it was, to basically flee the war.
Right.
And he came here with nothing. He didn't know anything whatsoever. And from there, his neighbor was Serbian as well, and his neighbor knew how to code websites.
Mm-hmm.
So he taught Igor how to code websites.
Mm-hmm.
And that was his first step. So then Igor started to kind of offer friends or like as a service to code the website. He didn't know what the hell he was doing or whatever. But then over time he got really good. I mean, Igor is just like, he has that immigrant mentality, they come from nothing and they know what it means to come from nothing. So therefore they never want to experience that again.
Yes, and especially not only when I mean, you come from nothing and you come from a war zone.
Yes.
And you see that clearly. The first generation after war, let's say from the 1950s, they've seen death. They've experienced death, and the only thing they want to do when war is over is they want to leave, and they throw themselves entirely, completely in life, you know. And you have this beautiful years generation, the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, and then the 90s. We start falling, 2000, 2010, and I believe that there is this cycle of wars every, maybe 100 years, something like that. And this generation today looks like a generation that's going to enter in war. They didn't see war. They don't know how lucky they are to have all these privileges. They don't see that like Peter Parker's uncle was saying, that a great power comes with great responsibilities, you know. And they're probably going to be the generation that's going to enter in war, and again another cycle is going to happen.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's almost like that living close to war, you have the perspective, knowing what it means to be in war. And me and like yourself, obviously, we haven't experienced that, and I think therefore a lot of people have a hard time to kind of take it serious that things could ever change, or we have kind of lived in this flow of civilization which has always been good, so therefore we think that things will always be good, right? But if we learn anything from history, we know that that things never stay the way they are.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's interesting to see. But yeah, Igor, obviously great friend of us from Serbia then, and he managed to take himself from the war and really build a really great life in Malta, and then eventually becoming the CEO of Nexus Gaming. And he is one of the most brilliant minds of the iGaming industry, and the way he thinks.
Completely agree with you.
Yeah.
And he's got a strong Maltese accent.
Yeah.
Oh my God. We were talking the other day. It's like, wow. Actually, he always got this strong Maltese accent, since I know him, because probably he came here before you, before me, before anyone. Even Swedes. I mean, there's a lot of Swedes that have been here for 5 years and they have this Maltese accent. Very, very, very funny to listen a Swede speaking with a Maltese accent, especially if it's a woman. You would say, you have a Maltese accent, and she would say, oh my God, no. Like it's not like sexy or whatever.
Yeah.
Igor has a strong Maltese accent, and Igor is brilliant. He really has an understanding of what gambling is. I remember he came something like 4 or 5 years ago to Barcelona for 1 week, maybe two times 1 week. I don't remember anymore. And we did a training with him, with my former business partner Charles, and we've learned so much. I mean, concepts that were completely unknown to me, like exit coefficient. What the fuck is an exit coefficient? And even today, when I speak with a lot of casino manager, CRM manager that should know these kinds of concepts, they don't know them. So what's an exit coefficient? You got a player that comes with €100. So you have a bet to ratio balance. That's also interesting. Player comes with €100, and let's say play €1 a spin. The percentage is 1%, so which is fine. Okay. If a player deposits €100 and play €50 per spin, you got a little problem. Okay. Now, what's the exit coefficient, and why do you really want to know what it is for a casino manager? Is player deposits €100 and wins, let's say, €5,000. So it's 50 times the amount of the deposit, and he doesn't withdraw. Ooh, that's really, really good. And then let's say his balance is going to go to 10,000 and he's going to withdraw. So you know that 50 times he doesn't withdraw, 100 times he withdraws. And you have other players, and I've seen a lot of them, They come, they deposit 100, and they have 120, and they withdraw. That's a 1.2 coefficient. So you don't want this kind of players. Let's say, or you have to be very careful with them. And a lot of other concepts. I mean, we could do a podcast just about that.
Yeah.
And actually, you should.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
with Igor.
Yeah, that's definitely something to discuss with Igor, and like you mentioned, he used to travel to speak with C-levels of major organizations, basically to teach them what the iGaming industry is. Yeah. And he did it in a way that just gave so clear insight into kind of what the industry means and the different departments. And
Completely. I remember even having conversation about collusion of players in bonuses. So what you look when you make a bonus offer is my bonus offer exploitable by players? You say yes or no. And then Igor started explaining me, yes, maybe not by one player, but if there's 100 player, it becomes it. And we will stop. We don't have players playing against each other. They all play against the house. I don't see how collusion here. They can't exchange money. How it works, he explained me like 50 times. I never wanted to believe it. I stayed stuck. And I think that 3 years ago, 2018, I don't remember exactly, we opened the UK market. Wow, we've lost more than 1 million in a month and something. And it was collusion. Wow. But now I understand, because I've felt the burn, how collusion works in casino with welcome offers. I won't describe it. I'll let Igor do it. You can have collusion, actually, players playing together, because they have an aggregate account on top of it. You just don't see it. For you see 500 players, but actually it's one guy. So he can have a strategy and play very differently. You would see one player say he lost. No, he lost on this cluster, but he's going to get the money back on the other one. And that's where it's going to bite you a lot. If it plays roulette 36 times, the bet, that hurts. You know, so all the other one they lose, he's fine with that. And then he tries to go for the bonus money after, and he can get some money out of it. But the one that's going to win 36 times the bet of €100, he's going to make back his money there. And another concepts also about probability cycles of, I don't know, many 2 or 3 million spins on some slots, and how the impact you can have on an operation, stuff like that. Very, 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 very interesting concepts. Yeah, really.
Like, how has that developed through the years, Alex? You've obviously been in the industry for a long time when it comes to collusion and players kind of exploiting bonuses and so on and so forth. Is that something that the industry is on top of these days, would you say, or is there still a lot of exploits?
I believe that the more you are in a regulated market, the more exploits you have. I mean, I've done both spectrum of B2Cs, MGA operation, UKGC license, then Swedish license. I mean, the closer you are to a player in this kind of jurisdiction, the closer you are to the big shadow that's behind the player, it's Big Brother that's here to defend him, which is nice. I mean, it's okay. It's important that players are protected. I mean, for me, actually, it's very important, because we're dealing with an addictive product. Okay. However, abusers, they know it too, and they're gonna abuse the casino, and then they're gonna blackmail the casino. And they're gonna say, if you don't pay me my money, give me my bonus, blah, 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 I'll contact the UKGC. And you could argue that normally you should not have any problem if you've done your things correctly. However, UKGC sometimes showed to be completely blind to the problematics operator we're facing with this kind of people, which are not people, actually, they're companies. There's this guy called Ada Lovelace,
Yes.
His real name is Osric. I mean, the consultancy is called Lovelace.
Yeah, we've been in touch with them actually to speak at some point. But yeah,
very smart people. Osric, more talkative, Ed, more discreet. Both two genius, two brains. Okay, if you have Igor on one side, which is, I mean, a global understanding of the business and CRM, etc. When we talk about bonus abuse, exploitable slots, etc., I mean, these guys, they're really the best in the industry, and I had extensive talk with them. They're really brilliant. So the big trend now, if you look at bonus abuse, basically it's exploitable slots, and one of the biggest way to abuse a slot is the following. If you put a real bet, you have a real win. That's easy. If you put a bonus bet, you have a bonus win. Any normal player management system can deal with that, okay, any wallet and bonus engine. Now, you have a lot of slots, a lot of play and go slots, for example, but now, I mean, the majority of the slots that are produced today work like that because obviously players like them, is that you play on a slot and you will feed a feature. You can call it an accumulative bonus feature. So I'll say, like, you have a scale on the side and you play, and you know when the scale is going to go touch up, then the feature is going to come up, and then the big win is going to come because there's a high RTP through this feature. So what you do is that you play with bonus money. So you have real and bonus. You first play with your real money because that's what goes first by terms and conditions. You win, you lose. That's actually all we were exploited also. You go play with bonus money on slots that have this feature. You fill a slot with that. You close it. You open another one. You fill it. You close it. You open another one, etc. until you have this bonus money. Then you come back with your real money. You open back the slots and you place a real bet. And then you're going to have a real win. But you filled that accumulative bonus feature with bonus money, right? And these guys, they do analysis every month, and they show you how many slots are produced on a monthly basis with this feature. And I remember we've discovered that maybe 4 or 5 years ago, and you couldn't play on this slot with your bonus money. You were only playing with your real money. But a lot of operators still today don't know what it is, which, to be honest, leaves me a little bit, I mean, I don't understand. You have brilliant people working in these big companies, they don't understand these basic concepts, you know? So it shows sometimes also there's some kind of lack of knowledge in our industry. There are some people that know their shit, like Igor, like these guys. I mean, like many other people, but there is also a big chunk of people that they're just running operations without really knowing what they're doing. You know?
Yeah, exactly. And you know, through the years, there's always been these kind of like famous exploits that have been popping up and then got into the surface, and then the fraud teams deal with it, and so on and so forth. And I mean, I remember back in the 2000s when during the poker boom, you know, and there wasn't that good knowledge within the organizations what was happening in terms of fraud and not. And at that time, it was a couple of poker players, professional poker players, who realized that when you move money from your main wallet to your poker wallet, that the currency goes from euro to dollar.
Yeah.
And the currency was only updated once a day, for example.
Okay.
So you could predict to which favor your and so you can just move all your money, you know, 11.59 to a certain account. And you know, this, because at that time it seems so obvious now that yes, of course this is an exploit, and of course this is so obvious that it's something that you should avoid. But you know, at that time everyone was just kind of getting to know this new environment, so there'll always be these like edge cases, right, where like now there's this accumulative feature that can be exploited.
Yeah.
And then eventually, you would hope that most operators realize this, but then there's always that part of the industry who is lagging behind a bit, I guess, because this knowledge generally isn't shared openly, like we are like right now, for example. It is, Ada Lovelace and Ed who are obviously talking to you guys, informing you about it, and then they are informing the next client and the next client and so forth.
But no, really, I mean, on our side, I don't want to brag, but I think we discovered it 5 years ago, basically when the slots were coming up naturally, and we blocked it on our side. When you run an operation, you see it. You cannot miss that. We've seen it. I mean, with the first playing of slots, we were like, okay. I mean, you see these kind of things, and there are many others like that. So it gets more complicated where you have multi-product like sportsbook and casino, because then you have different wallets, you have different offers, and they use an offer from the sportsbook, go to bingo, go to casino. It's a nightmare. Okay. But this kind of accumulative bonus feature, or what we call hiding the money in the table. I'm going to give you another example, which is a little bit similar, but very interesting. You should see it. And when sometimes we speak with people from the industry and explain, I say, oh, fuck, yeah. But on the other side, it reminds me of the conversation with Igor, when Igor told me about this collusion thing bonus, and I just couldn't grasp it until it happened to me. So hiding the money on the table. When you have the non-sticky bonus, sticky bonus would be you put 100 euro, real money, you have 100 euro bonus money, it becomes 200 euro that has to have terms and conditions. So it becomes bonus money. That's sticky. You don't want that. Actually, players today, some players are asking for it. So the nice way to do it is you have 100 money real, 100 money bonus. You first play your real. If you win something with your real money, there is no conditions that's going to apply, and you can withdraw your money, and you lose your bonus. It's fine. You got 10,000, you withdraw everything, you lose your 100 euro bonus. So what happens is that here the bonus money is made to make your experience a little bit longer when you lose. So you got 100 euro, you lose them, and then you enter in the bonus money mode, where terms and conditions, wage requirement start applying. So what the guys would do, they would take 100 euro, go on a roulette, I say try because now most of the roulette, they don't allow it, have a safe bet. So you don't play 50 euro on red and 50 on black, but you choose numbers that are going to compensate each other's. You do it number by number. So basically when you're going to do that spin, you are going to lose 137 times, which is the green, the zero, okay? But it's a sure bet.
Yeah.
So you put, let's say 50 on black, 50 on red. You play, you close the game before you get the answer from the software provider. So now your real money is not in the casino anymore. It's hidden in the table at the software provider server. The casino believes that the money is gone. And the players start playing with the bonus money. Can play with the bonus money, loses bonus, wins the bonus, whatever. But basically can play a bonus without engaging his real money, because what's going to happen at the end, he's just going to open this table again, and the money is going to come back. He can withdraw it. And he played with bonus money. You see?
Yeah.
That's a nasty one.
Yeah. People are ingenious with these exploits, and it just makes you wonder how many exploits are there that we wouldn't know about, because obviously these malicious players will obviously spend a lot of time to find these exploits in the beginning, and for the organizations to also find it, it's not a straightforward process, of course.
True.
Yeah, interesting to think about, and it'll be interesting to see what other exploits there will come up from this. I think as well, another just on a similar topic in itself is, what we're talking about here, I think, is the more complexity that you build into your product, the more susceptible you are to exploit. Right, because the more complexity, the less control you have, so on and so forth.
Logically, yeah.
Yeah, and not 100% related to the iGaming industry specifically, although it is related to the gaming industry too. But some trend that is, or not trend I would say, but something that is emerging now after all the hacks that have come to light lately. For example, the SolarWinds hack. I don't know if you're aware of this.
No.
Okay, SolarWinds hack is something that everyone should be aware of. It should be dominating the world news in general. So the SolarWinds hacks came to light at the end of 2020.
Right.
And it was basically a state-sponsored hack by the Russians who infiltrated this company called SolarWinds.
Right.
Okay, and SolarWinds. So I'm gonna butcher some of the details here, but essentially, SolarWinds is a company that provides IT security to most of the not the FTSE, but most of the major organizations in the United States. Okay, so pretty much all of the major organizations that you know, right? And through the hack of SolarWinds, they were able to get access to data from all the clients.
Right.
And still to this date, it is unclear of the scope of the hack. So we don't exactly know exactly how much information has been accumulated, but what we do know is that the hack started somewhere in beginning Q1 of 2020, and it went undetected until a later part of the year.
Right.
Right. So it's well possible that an insane amount of data from an insane amount of organizations have been leaked basically to this state-sponsored hack, and it's obviously a huge scandal. And I really encourage you to look into it. There's some really interesting podcasts and some really interesting documentaries on this subject, just to show the scope of this. Like I'm butchering the explanation, but in reality, it's by far the biggest hack ever, and this basically opens the question that this hack and so many other of the hacks that have come to light, Facebook data has leaked, other data has leaked, and it basically begs you to ask the question, like how feasible is it as we go forward and we create more and more complexities in our organizations to actually allow cloud solutions, for example, where a lot of these hacks happen, because somehow you have to access the servers via some form of entry point, right? And no matter how much IT security you have, when you have more and more complexity, there's always going to be a vulnerability in the system. So the prediction now, or not the prediction, but the conversation has now started in the IT security community, is that is cloud solution the future, or is the cloud going to die because of IT security concerns? Like how do you keep your data safe as a large organization if you can't even trust your IT security provider?
But because in that context, I imagine that the cloud makes you more vulnerable? Exactly.
So what the discussion is, like, can you isolate your sensitive data from internet access, basically?
Right. Yeah, I see.
Yeah. So there's something worth thinking about in general. Obviously, iGaming industry is a highly technical industry, but this obviously goes for any other industry as well. But I really encourage you to check it out. SolarWinds hack is super fascinating.
Actually, I think I've heard about it. I didn't dive into it. Yeah. But our industries, I mean, we are a technological industry that moves money in and out. I believe. Exactly. I believe we're the only industry, and that's the specificity of the transaction code 7995 that pays its customer. I don't know any other industry that pay the customer. I'm not talking about a refund.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the fact that money can come in and money can go out, which obviously raises issues in terms of AML, because you can launder money.
Yeah.
That's what we've seen while we're doing AML, is that we see there's no AML problem until money goes out from the account. You have responsible gaming problem, but let's say UKGC would never tell you, did you do your AML checks on this customer that spent, I say, $500,000 if he didn't withdraw? Or they're going to ask you, did you do your responsible gaming checks? But AML, no. However, you can have an AML check done at, let's say, €3,000 or pounds, because 2,000 went out. And that's where it starts being important to see money in, money out. So, yeah, as we're the only industry that has money in, money out, and as the money out depends on the outcome of an event happening on a server, it means a lot. And I'm sure there's been hacks, and I'm sure we don't know about them, because if you're a big company, I would say software company that has been hacked, you won't talk about it. You don't want your customer, the operators, to know about it, that they lost money because of you. And you see when they try to make it up. I mean, I'm an operator. I've seen this strange communication, like, yeah, nothing happens, fine. Man, I lost 100K. Nah, it's okay. It's fine. The RNG was fine, and it was not affected. Blah blah blah. Yeah, big companies.
Yeah.
And smaller one actually say, well, we fucked up. This place shouldn't have. They take the money. Here's the money back.
Yeah, exactly. But it's the same. I mean, there's been lots of examples in the wider tech world too, where Yahoo was hacked as well, and it took a long time before they came to the table and admitted that they were hacked. So a lot of private information leaked without the actual customers knowing it for a long time before they had to kind of admit it.
I think I remember that story.
Yeah.
I mean, Facebook lately also.
Facebook lately as well. I mean, most of the tech companies, I assume, are vulnerable to some certain extent, obviously, and it's just a matter of time, it seems, with the current focus on speed and efficiency and UX, UI, and removing friction for the client, and also operational efficiency as well. You know, you don't want to be locked into having to as the CEO personally have to travel somewhere to access a server or whatever. You want to have access wherever you are, if you're in Malta, if you're whatever. And I guess that is the conundrum, because at the end of the day, it's that choice that you're making as we go into the future. Is it efficiency versus safety? And I think that there will emerge a bit of a battle between these two.
I mean, people are really trying to solve it lately. You can see with cryptography, because it's all about cryptography at the end of the day, whether it's quantum cryptography, whether some people are coming actually with very, very innovative solutions in cryptography. I don't want to talk too much about that here, but it's a whole subject. But at the end, it's going to be everything about cryptography. But again, when I look back at our industry, I mean, I'm a techie guy, so I understand APIs, and now I'm doing B2B, so I look at the APIs. How do we integrate softwares? How it impacts the wallets on the casino side, etc., etc. And you see hackable things. I see them. I can give you one example that is very not known, actually.
Yes.
Let me put it this way. When you open up a game, the player open up a game on his computer, on his phone, he is not on the operator's website anymore. He moved to the software provider website. Okay, this object he opens, HTML5, whatever it is not located on the server of the operator. So there is an API call from the software provider to the operator that say GetBalance. Give me the balance, 100. And now the player is going to play. He's going to put spin, and let's say he can spin €5. Now, if in our terms and conditions we say you can't spend more than 10 euros, let's say with bonus money, there's no way for me to enforce it at this particular moment as an operator because I don't control this game. Okay? However, the spin goes, the bet goes, comes back to the player, but right before it comes back, the supplier is going to ask the operator, get balance again, because the player could have gone and play meanwhile on another software provider. And the first software provider wouldn't know it. So he needs to know if 100 euro, bet of 10 euro, it's 90 euro, come back, there's 0. Should I put in the balance, because I have the balance, should I put 90 euros or should I put 95 or should I put 1.5? And he asks for get balance. And what we have developed a long time ago, another operator did that too, in order to protect the player and to enforce terms and conditions within the platform. If you say to a player, you can't bet more than 5 euro per spin in bonus money, he doesn't read the terms and conditions. He plays, wins 10,000 euros, like, wow, I'm so happy. And then he said, no, as per terms and conditions, this money void, blah, blah, blah. It's really very frustrating. So what we did, we enforced the terms and conditions in our own platform. So if you would bet more than 5, we would limit you. And how we would limit you, as technically it's not really possible, at this moment, when the supplier comes back and say get balance, we say we put 0. And the error code, which is not a proper error code, is insufficient found. So the bet has been voided. We cover this with a pop-up. We say you bet 10 euro when you should have bet 5. Don't do it again. Ha. Push the button. Meanwhile, the game has been reloaded behind. It's a beautiful experience. I'm very proud of it.
Yeah.
However, now take this and think what can be done with that. The operator cannot affect the RTP, right? Actually, he can with this principle. I have a completely different mindset, and I'm going to use exactly the same mechanic. Player, first depositor, I don't know him. He makes a bet of 10, or even 5, doesn't matter. We're not in the same situation now. And he wins 10,000. I don't want this win to happen. I do the same thing, insufficient found. I give back the bet, and this big win disappears. So you're tricking the RTP. You're removing every win you consider is too big for you as an operator to pay. And very few people in the industry have the knowledge of that. I mean, very few, I would say very, very few. Each time I talk about that with someone, they're like, oh, fuck, shit, how is this possible? Yeah, it is.
Interesting, yeah. Yeah, there's different ways to go about things, yeah, that's for sure. Interesting to hear if others have had that knowledge as well to ask them to. Be interesting to hear. So I mean, on that point, and you mentioned cryptography as well here previously. What do you think about the blockchain of being a solution for the future of the industry? Do you think that it will be mainstream use for the industry to look at blockchain solutions?
Look, I don't think I would be a very good psychic here. That's how you called Robin this morning. How do you say it? Mystic Robin. Mystic Robin.
Exactly.
All right. I'm not sure I'm going to be a good mystic, Alex, because first, when everybody was about mobile, I was like, shit, it came out. I didn't believe in mobile. I believe in VR. It's not here yet.
Yeah.
I don't have a good track record of that. Okay? And I like the concept of blockchain, but it uses a lot of energy. Okay.
Yes.
It's very energy consuming. It's very slow. It's expensive. And cryptocurrency is something I don't like. However, I mean, especially since I'm in Malta, I'm meeting a lot of operators. They make shitload of money with crypto casinos. Well, really shitload of money. So there is a lot of crypto money that's entering in casinos. it poses very big questions, especially in some countries, where the money comes from and where does it go, especially when it's crypto. And when you start looking at where the flow of the money, it's obviously questionable. Okay, and I'm sure that you have intelligence agencies that are following this money. Okay. Now, your question was a bit different. You were not talking only about cryptocurrency, but blockchain. And I think there's Funfair Casino that has the full platform, and the other Casino.io, I think the Russian ones, the interesting company actually. I used to talk with them back in time. They have the full thing. I mean, even the affiliation is smart contract. Each time a bet is placed, it's a smart contract, and here the money is taken, given to the guy, the developer, given to the affiliate, etc., etc. I love the concept. I love this concept that each bet is a smart contract, and then the money is shared between the different people that are coming here. So I conceptually, I love it. Okay. I don't have the full vision of how it's going to be implemented and where crypto is going. I mean, blockchain. Now, when you see the value of Bitcoin, things like that, it's here. I mean, look where we are, right? We are in the studio of Chili's.
Yeah.
We were talking about that previously. A company founded by Alexandre Dreyfus. What's the market cap? Remind me.
2 billion.
No, 2
USD.
fucking billion.
2 fucking billion.
2 fucking billion. And it was, how much was it, like 2 months ago?
A tenth of that.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, I can close my eyes and I don't want to see it. It's still right there and it's growing, right? And it's good. I mean, I've got nothing against it. It's that, like, philosophically, I didn't believe in it. I mean, I must admit, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
But it's here. I mean, it's right here. It's right here. It's so big.
But why didn't you believe in it philosophically? Because that's the whole ethos in that community. It's almost like a cult. Like they have the whole philosophy made up for them, how it's going to take over the world and so on.
You're right. Actually, there is a story, a big story that underlines that, and it's very sexy. There's no centralized power, blah blah blah. Look, it's Napster, it's Kazam at the beginning. I mean, then decentralized. Okay, it's exactly, if you think about it, it's Napster. Okay, you download your music not from a server, but little pieces from each computer. So it's even logical that it goes in the flow of history, whatever. I don't know. No. Okay, let me tell you. This goes me a lot of friends, okay?
Okay, go for it, Alex. You have me still, it's okay.
Okay. You'll be my only friend.
Yeah, it's fine.
All right. So, back in the years, you were going in the shows and you were seeing the casino people. And the casino people were, let's say, the most successful ones, okay? We were the guys that were making the money. And then there was the Forex people, and then came the binary people. And I don't say they were not making money, but the product of a casino, and you could include poker and bingo, is clean. Whatever you can say about it, it's what you see, what you get. There's no bullshit. I wouldn't say the same about Forex and binary, okay? And basically what I was seeing is that all the people that were trying to make something in the casino industry and were failing were moving toward this industry, like cascading from casino to Forex to binary. And then they moved to Bitcoin. And when I was entering a Bitcoin conference room, I could see them. I mean, it was them. cascading again there, and crazy talks. I mean, yeah, it wasn't. It didn't sound legit. It didn't sound serious. I had a friend of mine was in that. I said, "Could you please explain me again how it works?" And he explained me again how it works. I said, "Look, I think you're smart. I think I'm smart. I usually understand things on the first time. You need to repeat me now for the fourth time. And this is like we talked about that for 4 or 5 times before. And I don't get it. Why can I not get it?" And then he answered, "Oh, look, Alex, it's like a virtual reality thing. It's not there, right? Okay, meanwhile, you have to be there and have people embrace it because that's how it works." Okay, I understand. Fucking Ponzi scheme or whatever. And okay, it's going to come later. And meanwhile, you have to sell the dream.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how I understood it at some point. So now, is there an industry behind that? Fuck yeah, definitely. And is this going to become something real? It seems so. Well, yeah, to be honest, I feel like a dinosaur. I feel like, oh, I'm the guy that didn't buy the bullshit, or I'm just a dinosaur that doesn't want to embrace the change. I don't know. Future will tell. We'll see.
But maybe the dinosaur could turn into a forward-thinking dinosaur in the end of the day. Because I you know what I think as well, I guess, and I throughout my journey as well, I think the iGaming industry was exposed to the crypto world very early, right? So a lot of the pioneers in the crypto and blockchain space come from the gaming industry, as you mentioned, and you know, so we've been exposed to this for a long time, and a couple of years ago, you know, I would say like 6-7 years ago, something like that, there were a lot of shady and questionable people who were the faces of this world, right? And very extravagant people who had a big voice and very charismatic, let's say. True. But I think
that's exactly that.
Yeah, but people like you see through that, right? So you see that these are just bullshitters, basically.
Yeah.
And it could be the case that they were ahead of their time at that time. It was just very early days, you know, and the philosophy ended up being correct. You know, you heard people even back then saying that Bitcoin will hit $1 million and or even 100K or even 50K or 10K. You know, even that was absolute, you know, throwing the dream out there. The thing is that I think at that time the whole crypto space was so volatile because everyone assumed that eventually Uncle Sam will put their foot down and close this space down, you know, pretty much.
Yeah, that's what I always thought.
Yeah. And
then you see all the big companies and of this world, and banks going all in crypto when they were saying, okay, this is all a scam. And 2 years after, I don't have the example, if it's Morgan Stanley or whoever it is, they full crypto now. Yeah. They embrace it. And these guys were just saying clearly there was a scam. So when you see that change happen, you can't not see it. I mean, you need to accept it. Now it's part of this world. Yeah. I just think that, you know, in hindsight, it's easy to say, oh, of course, crypto was always going to be the way it is today. But like I said, it's just this narrow road that led it to where it is now, because there were so many traps along the way that could have severely halted the progression of this space. Like everyone was assuming that regulators would clamp down and there would be some kind of like, you know, Black Friday type event where Uncle Sam just shut down the entire online gambling industry in the US in 2011. But that ended up not being the case. But I do think something which is important here is like, it feels that you're a dinosaur now because there's been, you know, 10 years since Bitcoin was founded and so on and so forth. But I think that where we are right now is like internet 1996.
the internet has already, in 1996, the internet had already existed for some time. But it was very, very niche, right? And no one knew what to do with it. Okay. The expectation was that this is going to be much bigger than what it is now. We don't know why, but at the same time, there was also a lot of doubters of the internet, that this is just a fad. You know, I mean, I'm sure you've seen the news articles and so on and so forth. So I think that it's easy to, whatever it is, if you're investing in a company that has been doing really well, or you look at the crypto space, or I remember in 2011 where we had a discussion with one of the affiliate managers in Betsson, and we were saying, damn it, we should have become affiliates, but now it's too late. Right?
Yeah. No, I see completely your point.
Yeah. So I think that this is a great time to enter the space and really think about how we can leverage this technology.
Look, at a very small level, today I'm running an aggregation platform. We have added crypto and micro crypto to our API, and I'm thinking about opening a new B2C operation, and I will have crypto. I will definitely have crypto. I cannot not have crypto. I'll be stupid, because I see the crypto money start coming into the aggregation platform. There is crypto money running through. So it's here. That's for sure. Now I feel like a very slow follower here. I'll do it because I cannot not do it. It's like there's money on the table. I say no, thank you, and it's been thrown into your face. I mean, it became one of the currencies of our iGaming industry, and one important one, a complicated one that you should really look at in terms of AMO, really, but it's here. Now, the next logic step is the blockchain platform and smart contracts for slots, because a lot of this, you see what I'm going to say, a lot of these kids, because they're young, these guys are young, the one that use crypto in the casinos. So a lot of these kids, they don't trust the software provider. They need a game that's blockchain based. They need to see the hash codes. They want to be able to track the transaction and to know that it's hosted on blockchain platform. You know?
Yeah, it's the transparency that it brings down, right? And
the transparency and the fact that it's not centralized and nobody owns the thing.
Yeah,
and everything is, as you said, transparent. Everything is open. You can see the code. You can see the contract. You can see exactly how it works. It's exposed to everyone. However, I was talking with a crypto guy the other day. He said yes, and that's the theory. In practice, they hide it, and even so now, some crypto casinos they're playing with the players. So basically, what they do is that instead of giving the hash code for each transaction, they will give it for the next 5 transactions once the player asks it. So it's not given by default, it's given per request of the player for the next 5 transactions. So you see, even in the crypto world, they start going around.
Yeah, but I'm guessing that this is also a natural progression of things where at the end of the day, the most reputable providers in this space will prevail in the end of the day. Those who are legit, those who are open, those who are transparent. Eventually, the players will still choose them, I would hope.
But then you could say the same thing about non-crypto. The beauty of crypto, and the beauty of blockchain, is that it's transparent and decentralized by design, and that's what you want to keep. If you need to add layers on top of it because people are tweaking it, that's when it starts losing its purpose. The purpose, it has to be like that by design. And if we start relying on the fact that the good guys are going to do their job, then we come back in the normal world. I listen to myself, I sound like a already a blockchain crypto advocate, you know. But if we go down that route, and if we'll look at that this way, that's how it should be, you know. We should not rely on companies, people, whatever. We should rely on the platform.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the beauty of it. I mean, in the theory, that's the beauty of it. I don't know what you think about. I'm not very an expert in that. The energy that it uses, the mining, etc., etc. I mean, the heat it produces, the crazy amount of information that's out there.
Yeah, this is something I've been thinking about as well in general. So what you're referring to, I mean, for example, to uphold the Bitcoin blockchain is taking the same energy consumption as like Denmark. That what Denmark is consuming as a nation in energy. That is what it takes to uphold the blockchain as it stands right now. And this is obviously just becoming bigger and bigger and bigger. And so you could make the argument that as we go into the future, Bitcoin and other blockchains are some of the biggest polluters or cause of pollution in the world, for example, which is obviously a massive potential issue of the blockchain, and especially as we now go into a future where more and more and more of the dialogue happens around the environment and sustainability in general. So it will, I don't know how, you know, because there's these two conflicting philosophies that you could say that are colliding against each other, where like the Bitcoin community has like a cult following, you could say, who will defend Bitcoin to the death. And at the same time, you have the environmental side as well, who obviously are also very deep into the belief that we need to save the environment. And you have these two conflicting sides that are meeting, and what will come out of that is another challenge. Let's say, just like with Bitcoin facing the regulator. What do you think will happen, Alex?
I got no clue. I mean, seriously, I'm not sure I'm the best person to talk about a Bitcoin blockchain, but no, I got no clue. I know that you have these big servers that are buried in some very cold places or in the water, mining servers to dispense the heat, you know. I've heard manipulations of the platform done by governmental agencies like China, okay, and how they can heavily impact it. I feel almost like the guy that you would say, look, you don't need your CD anymore. You have your music online on Napster, and today with Spotify. It's decentralized. It's not physical anymore. You don't even need to have it on your phone. You access it. It's streaming each time you listen to it. Why download it? Just maybe if you don't have access to data. But we're not even talking about that. We say you have a CD, or you have it in your, back in time it was an iPod, I think. And then the next step will be you don't even have it in your iPod. You access it each time on a server, like cloud-based. And people say, no, I want my CD. I mean, it's physical. I have it here stored next to the other CD and the other CD, and I can touch it like a book, you know. And here it's a little bit the same thing. You had an economy that was based on gold, the gold reserves that the bank had, and that we know now they may not have anymore. And this completely decentralized money, and you think it could just disappear. Sorry, but it's exactly the same thing that you have in a banking system. I mean, you see that you have, let's say, 100,000 in your account. It's just a line on the computer. Yes. You know there's no gold behind it anymore. But exactly. still it's centralized. And now we're going to decentralize. It seems like the CD thing, and the fact that you have it now non-physical on your phone or whatever, and then you don't even have it. It seems that each step forward, we move forward, we're going toward more dematerialisation, more digitalization. It's very challenging for, let's say, normal human being. That each step forward, it's like you're moving toward a ethereal dimension where you can't hold anything anymore.
Exactly. But this is interesting because cheers, by the way, Alex.
Yes.
We're having a great time here today. It's nice to have you here, man.
Yeah, this is a very good vodka.
Yeah,
Thank you very much.
Exactly. Cheers to you, my friend.
Cheers.
Cheers. It's good to have you here. But it goes to a much deeper question, which is the fact that like what do we as human beings attribute as value? Like what is value to us? So you mentioned gold, for example.
Yeah.
And we have this innate belief that gold is worth a lot of money.
Yeah.
But let's go back to first principles. Why are gold worth a lot of money? And it's not really because of the material.
It's not its properties.
No.
It's not its properties.
It is it is because the scarcity, right?
Yes, exactly.
So you can make an argument that water is a lot more important to have in your life than
Obviously.
gold. Yeah. But water is not worth the same price as it is in gold. So so it is the scarcity that creates the value, and it's not really the physical entities in this. So gold is quite interesting because only 1/10 of the gold that we have dug up in the world is used for technology pieces or in your electronics and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
And 90% is held in storages, basically.
Yeah.
Right. So only 1/10 of the gold reserve is actually used for something of value. Other than that, it's only based on the scarcity itself. So that is where that is kind of the like when you realize that it is the scarcity that creates the value and not the physical property, then it starts making a little bit more sense why Bitcoin, why there is any form of value in Bitcoin, because it is essentially the same thing, right? The only difference is that in Bitcoin you can provably 100% know how many Bitcoin there are today and how many Bitcoins there will ever be. So the scarcity is 100% predictable, which makes it easier for us to attribute the value because we are safe knowing that it's not going to be, 100 million Bitcoin entering the market tomorrow by surprise. Whereas gold, there is an assumption how much gold there is, and there is an assumption how much gold we will find. But an interesting fact about gold is that most of the world's gold is how do you say it's grinded down into to atoms basically in the water. Right.
Okay. Gotcha.
So we have something like $10 trillion worth of gold. That is what we can gather right now. But in the seas of the world, there is something like $200 trillion worth of gold.
Very interesting.
But it's spread out in molecules basically and in atoms in gold. So you could make the argument that like one day we can invent a machine that is sifting up this
to harvest it.
To harvest it.
And then gold will be completely
and then it's not like the market cap will all of a sudden be 300 trillion. It will obviously collapse. The gold will be much cheaper, right? So you could make. So this, I think, is the community of Bitcoin. This is the argument that they are making: is that Bitcoin is a lot more safer as a store of wealth for the long term than gold, than even gold, for example.
Interesting.
Yeah. A lot of nuances, to think about, and it really it's a rabbit hole, the blockchain and crypto space, and diving into it, it's really makes you question the beliefs that you have of how human beings attribute value to something, or why it is important for us to feel that we have ownership of certain things, which is where NFTs comes in, for example.
Completely.
Where it's like, why do I pay a lot of money just for the bragging rights of saying that I own something, where in the case of a digital art piece, for example, when anyone can just copy it, but still people do it.
Yeah, then you have a case here that's interesting to compare. We know, for example, that for offices, the nomad office that were really hype during these past 10 years. So basically what you would have, you have 100 people working in a company, you have 50 desks, okay? And especially now with COVID, when people don't come to the office every day, you can reduce the real estate, okay, because the office is never full. The desks are nomad, which means that anyone can sit on any desk, okay? You have your little box, you open it, your computer, whatever, you take a desk and you go. So it forces you also to clean the desk at the end of the day before you go, okay? So what I found out after years of study is that first of all, people feel very depressed. They don't own the space. There's not the picture of your family, your cat, your dog, whatever, your little plant, something. You could argue it's not important, actually it is. For the well-being of a human being, it is very important. The cleaning thing at the end is also problematic because all this mess that's here maps a mental structure, an internal mental structure. So when you would come back the day after and you're working on that project and you have these little post-its, etc., and we know that from the Scrum methodology that what works the best is not to use the softwares, it's to have post-its on a wall. That's what works the best. We are physical creatures that live in a 3D or 4D environment, if you want to take the time. We need that. So when you're going to come back at your desk after, you're going to see your message, oh, that was that, and it maps something in your brain, okay? So, and I was saying that half an hour ago, that it's more and more challenging because everything is becoming more dematerialized and more digitalized. Maybe there's something to think about that. How human beings, how do they cope with that? Is it healthy for us to have this level of dematerialization? And maybe it's not. And maybe we do need to touch the things. And actually, you have these meditation techniques for people that have anxiety. And the first thing they say, okay, you touch something, you taste something, you smell something, you see, you listen. You use your 5 senses to experience something. And that allows you to root you in your body, okay, and it calms you down, and then you don't feel that stressed, okay. And I believe that stress in humans come a lot from not being able to physically connect with, let's say, the human experience, and then they just go away and they feel bad. So you need to ground yourself. Okay. Maybe that's an argument toward this big movement of dematerialization, but we're going to see it. It's very hard, I think, to predict, but it's something I'm sure people like what's his name, Yuval Harari, the modern philosopher, Sapiens. It's Yuval Harari, I think. Yuval Harari.
Okay,
Right?
I haven't read the Sapiens, but I'm super curious to read it actually. But give a brief.
Sorry, I'm sure this kind of guy has some thought about it, because it does impact us deeply in the way we experience this reality.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. I'd love to check that book out. Actually, there's one of those that's on my list that I haven't gotten to yet. Is that one of your favorites?
To be honest, I bought it. I didn't read it. It's there, and actually, I brought your book. I forget to bring it right here.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I need to give you the book. It's called Last Call.
Last Call. What's it about?
Last Call from Team Powers. It's a story, and it's. I think I've talked to you about that before. It's a story. It's a little bit if you mix like Casino and American Gods. Oh. So there's mythology and there are gods that are here in the shadow, and but in the modern world. So it's in Las Vegas, and there's this guy playing poker, and he hears about he needs money. and he hears about these guys that are playing poker with tarot cards. So you have all the symbolic and mysticism behind tarot cards. So imagine playing poker with tarot cards. Like you're in direct relationship with some gods or whatever they are. And the book is just crazy. It's amazing. I mean, there's a really crossover between gambling and deity, or like you have it in American Gods. It's a very, very interesting book.
Super interesting. Yeah, I'm looking forward to check it
Yeah.
out.
Actually, I need to give it to you because I don't want to take it back to Barcelona. I brought it for you.
Yeah. We're gonna see each other tomorrow again, actually. So that's perfect. I mean, staying on that subject a bit, on the kind of philosophy plus gambling a bit. I think it's an interesting topic as well. How do you view the gambling industry from a philosophic point of view? What does gambling mean to you in general, and why is it that human beings respond so enthusiastically about betting money on an uncertain event?
There's a lot about gambling. It's something that's very deep. Barely, it's untouched. Very few people from our industry ask themselves, what is gambling? It's like something that's hidden in plain sight. The magical and sacred nature of it. So, where to start? I mean, if you think about how human beings used to live before, we used to die a lot. I mean, we were dying from anything. Life was dangerous. This period in human known history, almost 100 years without a war, a big war, I mean, involving all humanity. Of course, there are wars. But it's the most peaceful period we've observed. So, you don't know a lot of people around you, if you look at your life, that died from something strange, except then a cancer or something, and maybe a car. But people around you don't die on a daily basis like they used to do before. People were dying a lot, you know? So we don't have this threat of dying, and that's the ultimate gamble. I mean, you go out, you don't know if you're going to come back tonight, which is still true today. I'm not sure I'm going to go back to my hotel tonight. And that's how I live every day, you know, every day. I'm very grateful when the end of the day comes and I'm still alive. So, human being is, for millions of years, been used to die. Okay? And even the one that survives and pass their genes, they used to die. They've seen death. Okay? And now we don't see death anymore. You can say, okay, it's cool. Now, actually, maybe it creates a stress. And Jordan Peterson was talking about that. He was saying the generation of young men today, they're very distressed because they don't have nothing on their shoulders. They don't have a family to hold. They don't have a purpose. They have nothing. At the moment you give them a purpose, they feel alive again. It's like these kids in Ireland. They're in the streets. They live from stealing, etc., etc. You give them a horse, because there are a lot of horses in the streets of Ireland, and then they completely change because they have to take care of another living being. Okay, so the sense of purpose, the sense of having something on your shoulder, the sense of there is a stake on the table. If you remove the stake, actually it's funny that the word I used, it's stake. If you remove the stake, that's the fact that you can die at any moment, you may create, in a very counterintuitive way, you may create stress. And some people will need that stress, will need to put again the guts on the table to feel that thing, okay? And that's what gambling will be. In French we call that ordalie. It's a typical word. We have it in English too, ordeal. where basically it was a way of judgment of God. You would say, this woman is a witch, okay? We're gonna put you in fire, all right? And if you're not a witch, you're gonna survive. And if you're a witch, you're gonna burn. Or we're gonna throw you in water, and etc., etc. With, of course, stones around your feet. And it's the divine judgment. And that's exactly what the player is experiencing. He's putting his destiny in the hands of something bigger, whether you call it Lady Luck or whatever. So, in that way, players that gamble, if you look at poker players that are more players that are a skill, and poker players that look down on gamblers, but the gambler, he doesn't want to have a skill, doesn't need a skill. It's his identity that makes him special. He deserves to win. He's a kind of son of God or whatever. He deserves that big win. Okay? That's why actually when a player doesn't win, a real gambler, he feels really bad about it because it questions its own identity. And now to get back to something maybe more understandable about gambling, it is the only setup, the only game that affects you once the game is finished. So if you play Monopoly, you're a kid, you play with other kids, there's money involved, you lose, and you feel really bad the 10 minutes or 1 hour after. You lost this money. And it goes away, you know? It vanishes. In gambling, it doesn't vanish. It really affects. You were playing a game, and when you got out of that game, you win or you lost money, and that affects you in real life. That is very powerful. There is nothing else that does that. And before, yeah, they would do it with a gun. I mean, Vietnamese soldier were doing that with American soldier when they were prisoners, you know? I don't know the name of the movie in English, actually. Un train nommé Désir. I think it's with Marlon Brando. And they you know, the Vietnamese guards, they give guns to the Americans prisoners with just one bullet. And they give it to them. And they make fun of them like that. Because at some point they're gonna die.
Yeah.
Actually, at some point they're gonna die. No, the one that's dying is giving life to the other one, because once one is dead, the other one can go. So, yeah, there's something quite mystical about gambling, and you could have another setup that was described. We talked about that by Alan Watts, where basically, actually, it's funny because you took this speech by Alan Watts and you have it in one of your teaser video of
which I made for a party, yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. When you show me that, I was like, fuck, that's good.
It was a good teaser, yeah.
It was a good teaser.
It was a good teaser.
So yeah, basically what Alan Watts said is he says, I wonder, you know, with this very deep magical voice he's got, and like, oh, what do you wonder, Alan?
Tell me.
Tell me what you wonder. Very good storyteller. So he wonders what would we do if we could dream of a life of 80 years old lifespan during a night of 8 hours. So you close your eyes, you have 8 hours and you dream. And this dream lasts for 80 years. And then when you wake up, it's just 8 hours. Okay? And he says what you would do, you will build worlds and you will travel around these worlds that you will be like Minecraft thing, you know, like video game. And then you'll break them and then you make wars and then you travel again and then you fall in love and then you travel again with her and you experience all these beautiful things. And at some point, like kids who would want to take it further, you will make a bet. And he says this, you will make a bet. And that would be that you wouldn't know that you're playing. That will make it so special that if someone, I mean, if you lose an arm in the game, you lost an arm. It hurts. You feel the pain. If she dies for real. It's not just that she's dead. It's my partner in the game that's dead. No. She dies. It hurts you. And you will feel the things and you will pretend to not be the God you are. And where would you be? You would be exactly where you are now. Okay? So, how can you relate that to gambling? Actually, you can relate that to virtual reality, because the future of virtual reality is exactly that. And I've spent a lot of hours in VR. At some point, you don't distinguish VR from reality. And actually, VR looks more real than when you take off the goggle. But what happens also is that you have this distanciation of the self. You start taking distance with your own, with Alexandre. I look at him, I'm like, what the fuck is he doing, etc., etc. You distantiate yourself, and you also distantiate yourself from reality. That's very weird. It's known, and it's not just me, there's studies. So the distantiation from the self is quite common. The other one is a little bit weirder, is that, okay, you take off your goggle, okay, it doesn't look real anymore. But then days they pass, and you're like, is this real what I'm living right now? Because the experience in VR is so strong that you start questioning the real life. And actually, in the 60s, they made this experiment with kids. So they had this Wednesday thing, you know, and they were playing tennis, football, blah, blah, and they were playing with whales. How do they play with whales? Actually, in VR. In the 60s, they're like TVs on their eyes, you know. This was the first VR setup. And when 1 week after, the experimenter, Dr. Weber, came to talk to the kids, said, okay, could you tell me what you did that day? This, that, and the whales. And for the kids, it was real. After 1 week. Means that on the moment they know it's not real. But then your memory is going to create souvenirs, memories, that your brain is going to create these souvenirs that you think it's real. And actually this blogger, 3 or 4 years ago, he did that. He went in VR on the beach. It looks so real. Oh, it's so beautiful, it's so real. He knows it's not real. So he was recreating that experiment. And then he made another blog video 1 month after. He said, I just want to tell you guys that for me now, when I think about this moment, it's exactly the same thing that I've been on the beach. So what Alan Watts describes about a God dreaming, blah, blah, blah. Okay, there's time distortion. That may come too. Okay, why not? It's not that science fiction. It's not something like it's coming from another dimension, and it's our future, but like not 50 years, maybe 20. I don't know. It's close. It's here. You know. So why the relationship with gambling? Because here, what you do, you are in a setup that technologically allows you to forget who you are in order to get better, deeper into the simulation, to believe that the simulation is real. You don't need that with gambling. You don't need to believe it's real. Through the proxy that money is, and that is used in the game, and that is used in real life, it does affect you in real life, whether you believe in it or not. Because in the video game, I lost money in the video game. Yeah, I don't give a shit, because when I get out of the video game, I have that money, you know? So you need to believe that it's happening for real. Yeah, no. You lose your money for real. And that money comes from the real world. It's going to hurt you when you go back there. And that's the beauty for me of gambling. That's what it brings. So you could argue, could we do it more gently, softly, so it doesn't hurt that much? Responsible gaming, etc. And I would argue, yes, why not? I mean, I want to go into a monetary society where people, player will lose no more than 50 euros per month, and they will engage not only with the house, but again, each other, and there's not this setup where they play against the house, but they play against their friends together with their friend against other people, and the house, like in a poker tournament, is just organizing the event. And I like very much this idea that the house is not the opponent of the player, they just organize events. And you can do that with casino games, slots tournaments, etc., etc. And all this is nice. We went from risking our lives, we're about to die, to losing money burns too much. So, and then we want to lose even less. That's fine. I mean, let's do it. It's okay. But I think I said it one time too. It's like somebody would come to me and say, "Okay, I want to have this mushroom experience or this ayahuasca experience, but could you make it please that it's not uncomfortable?" No, I can't do that. The purpose of it is that it's fucking uncomfortable. It's gonna fucking hurt you, and that's how you're gonna grow. And so is gambling. It has to hurt you. It's like when you go to the shrink. The shrink tells you, you need to pay me because otherwise the tariff is not going to work. Thank you, Mr. Freud. You create a business, but it's true. Because if you don't pay the shrink, you can just wander around, blah, blah, blah. No, when this hour or 45 minutes, because they put 45 minutes now, is 60 or 80 euros, believe me, you're going to work. You're going to work your ass. And it's exactly the same. It needs to hurt. Now, how much? That's the question.
Yeah, and that is at the end of the day the question from the organization's point of view, what responsibility they want to have for the players. But I think I think your explanation here, what kind of gambling means to you and what the thrill of gambling comes from, is very, very interesting. I mean, you talked about Alan Watts and his speech about the dreams, and I think also that it alludes a little bit to the fact that if we could create a dream world the way we wanted to, like you were saying, at the beginning we'd do all these experiments, we'd create perfect worlds and so forth. And even in the movie Matrix, which is also deeply rooted in philosophy, it is the previous Matrix were based on perfect worlds where everyone was maximum happy. But at the end of the day, the human experience, what we crave, is volatility.
It's a very good example, actually. Yeah, I remember the Agent Smith saying that to Neo.
Yeah.
That in the previous version of the Matrix, everybody was happy, etc., etc.
Yeah.
It was a disaster.
It
didn't work out.
Yeah, and this is deeply rooted in the psychological fact that if you would play, we can relate it to gaming. If you would play a slot machine, that will give you a win every time that you play. So every spin you win twice your money, and you think, wow, that's incredible. You just play this machine day in, day out. But actually, if you study the psychological effect in endorphin kicks and from playing such a game versus you play a game which is volatile, sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, the human brain reacts much stronger towards the game with volatility that is uncertain, right?
Yeah.
So people seek themselves to activities where the outcome is unknown. You can either win or you can lose. When you win all the time, I mean, we know this from life in general. If you play tennis against someone that you win against all the time, tennis becomes boring at the end of the day. And because we get used to this experience and it becomes something that is just static, right? So we are innately programmed as human beings for volatility and to
and uncertainty.
And uncertainty.
It's known in music, for example. They've studied that the best music, that people react to some music, so they have this predictable pattern, and then the third time, and it changes, and it fucks up the brain. The brain's like, wow, fuck, it should have been that. No, it's this, and that's the songs, the music that ranks higher. When they do the study and they ask people which one you like the most, it was the one that had this predictability thing and then changed it.
And you could also say that when you raise kids or when you grow up as a child, and you become successful later in life, there's a saying that goes, show me a successful person and he will show you a rough past. Because nearly all the time, people who grew up having to face difficulties, that is the way you grow, right? You don't grow by just having a lukewarm life and not being posed towards challenges. You grow from having to face challenges. So maybe this innate trait that we have in us in human beings, that we seek uncertainty, and that we are drawn to it, maybe that is because at the end of the day, that is how we grow as human beings, and we become stronger as human beings.
Completely. I mean, I couldn't agree more. There's this book written by this young guy called Simland. It's called Stronger by Stress. So you analyze all the stress factor that makes you grow, and would be caloric restriction, fasting, would be sport, would be sauna, which is heat restriction. I mean, cold temperature. I mean, there's a lot of them. Pressure, gravity, whatever. Emotional stress also. Taking mushroom is an emotional and psychedelics, an emotional and spiritual stress. I mean, you're close to a psychotic break. And I'm not talking about nervous breakdown. Oh my God, I can't anymore feel the pressure. No, a psychotic break is like when the fabric of reality is just vanishing in front of you, and you don't even know if you're a human anymore and if this world exists, you know. And I think this kind of experience, they make you grow. And gambling is part of it. It's funny. I mean, I'm not trying to find a beautiful purpose, because I mean the industry has to do something also about that. Gambling is one thing. Then after the how we handle the player funds, the bonusing, etc. This is not the story. The fact that some operators are not very ethical, it's another thing. But the true nature of gambling has something sacred, and is one of these stress factors that what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And but for anything like sport or fasting, for example, you need to be able to take the right amount of stress that's gonna make you grow without breaking you.
Yeah, exactly.
You need to evaluate that before, and then.
Yes, exactly. It's the key. I think Jordan Peterson talked about this as well. Is the fact that you want to, when you raise children, then for example, you want to expose them to stress, but just below the threshold for them to break. Basically.
Yeah.
And that is where like the Goldilocks zone is for growth. At the end of the day,
exactly.
You want to be in that zone as much as you possibly can.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's that's what you call the flow zone. You know the flow zone, where you are in this state where an athlete is going to run in his best way, an artist is going to find the best music, you're going to write the best book, you're going to make the best speech, blah, blah, blah. They found out that the flow zone is triggered several things, but there's this threshold, there's this two thing. It has to be more complex than what you do usually. Enough to challenge you, but not too much so it doesn't block you. You have to find a way for you to trigger flow, to do something that's a little bit more challenging than what you usually, but not too much. And that's it. So maybe actually it's a good answer. How to deal with gambling and how to make gambling. It's funny to say it. I mean, regulator will hear us, maybe laugh, but how to make gambling an experience that make a player grow. And it will definitely go through, you would say, risk assessments or wealth check, whatever. I mean, you know how much he has, how much he can dispose, and how much he's willing to lose. And then you create this experience around that.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's clear use cases and to show here why that is beneficial in your life. I mean, in the poker world, I think is very interesting. If you look at the format of playing a poker tournament, you know, the WSOP in Las Vegas, the buy-in is $10,000. Everyone puts in 10K, but only 10% of the play pool actually gets into the money and wins something. And as you go deeper into the field, you win more and more money. So the psychology of poker tournaments is very interesting.
That's what I love in poker tournaments.
Very, very interesting.
You can't lose more than what you put on there, except if you want to do a rebuy, if it's authorized. But that's the beauty of it.
Yes.
That's really beautiful.
But because the beauty that I see, you know, coming from that world as well, is that you are very much exposing yourself in the poker tournament, who you really are. So when I play a poker tournament and you get closer and closer to the money, some people tend to become very, very risk averse, right? So they don't dare to make the right bet.
Okay.
Isn't that interesting? Because you can have a hand and you know what the right thing is to do. You know what is going to increase your chances of making the most money that you can in the game. But many, many, many players under that pressure choose to do the wrong thing purposely, which is to play safe. Right? So what that means is that if you're an unexperienced poker player and if you are risk averse as a trait, you will very likely play very tight, as is the name for that in poker tournaments, right? Whereas a proper professional poker player loves that situation in the poker tournament when you get closer to the money, because that's when most people start playing way too tight than what is optimal poker.
Right.
And the poker pros, that is when they take advantage of the game.
You create opportunities by creating uncertainty. Actually, again, what you said, variability, volatility. You create this event that wasn't predictable.
Yeah. So what those poker players learn essentially as a human skill in life is to basically face these very high risk, high reward situations without having the stress of and the weight of the decision weighing them down. So in that moment when they are close in the poker tournament to win a lot of money or potentially lose everything, they act without emotion.
Right.
And it's a skill that you learn from playing poker, right? The more you do it, the better you become at it. And realizing that you have to go against this feeling of like, oh my God, if I do the wrong thing, I'm out. You know, you have to take the chance. You know, and so when they go into their careers, when they go into business life, and when they face life in general, they can face these type of situations in life with the same mindset, right? And they will have an edge in the business world, being less risk averse and being able to take the right decisions based on what the odds are, or you know, on the uncertain event and so on and so forth. So you can easily make the argument that playing poker for a long, extensive period of time will teach you very valuable life lessons.
I see your point. Yes. But not even poker. Then look at even slots. You go. You play, it hurts. You lost money. Come back in the real world. You took your hit. It teaches you to not be so dependent on losses. To be able to bounce back. Okay. Now one would argue, you know what? I would prefer you to do that in the real business world and invest your money in. Whether it's in stocks, in Bitcoin, whatever, or even in a company, and do that with your business and don't gamble. And you could argue that big entrepreneurs, they don't gamble. Warren Buffett, actually he may gamble when he invests money on the stocks, but and now others, they do. I think there is something about gambling that is about losing money, about taking the hit, about being able to get less sensible each time when that happens. But there is something about submitting yourself to a higher power, accepting this or could you say domination of something bigger? Because at the end of the day, we say in France, la roue tourne, the wheel turns, okay? And life is a wheel. And today you're up, you're the master of the city, you're the king, and something happened, and tomorrow nothing. You know, you lost your big house, you lost your big boats, you lost your cars, you lost your credit cards, you lost everything. And you just want to kill yourself or cry like a little baby. No, get back on your feet. Start from beginning, okay? And we'll do it again. And if we have to, we'll do it again. And that's what maybe Monaco back in time and Las Vegas taught us, in a way, in a kind of dirty way, because the population there, I mean, all these people that were in these cities, the mobs, etc., they don't smell good, but that's what he's telling us, and there is again something spiritual about it, I find.
Yeah, I can completely see that too, and it's a lot deeper than what meets the eye gambling. I think that is more the case on the in today's world. To a large extent, gambling is stigmatized, and it's just seen as something foreign for a lot of people, and without them realizing that on a day-to-day life, on a day-to-day basis, everything they do in life is like gambling one way or the other.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's funny, Alan Watts said something about that. He's talking about the jester. So the jester is this guy, badass motherfucker we all see when we take psychedelics. He's making fun of you, he's putting you down. It's like having Rick Sanchez from Rick and Morty inside you and judging you and looking at you and say, you're a fucking monkey. You look at you, you're miserable, you're a pathetic human being condition. You're nothing. I can make you die like that. And the problem is that you take too seriously what I'm doing for fun. Okay, a little piece of shit. And like, oh, fuck. And this guy, the jester, actually is not bad. He's not bad. He doesn't want you to feel bad. He just wants you to show that you should laugh about shit. You should not take yourself so seriously. And when you catch him and you say, oh, you're the jester, you're God, basically. Because that's what he is. No, I'm nobody. You know? He's making fun of himself. He doesn't want to show his power. He doesn't want to show he is. You know? And Alan Watts says, it's the wild card in the game of cards. The jester is a wild card because he is every one of us. And that's how you match at the end gambling and this spiritual experience.
What a beautiful way to end the podcast today, I think, with the words of the jester, the archetype of Jung, I believe.
Yes, completely. Yeah,
one of the archetypes. Yeah. Brilliant, Alexander. This has been quite the trip, I must say, today.
Yeah, it was very, very nice. Thank you for having me, actually, Pierre. Thank you very much.
Yeah, absolutely, Alexander. This is the first time we do have this discussion on the podcast. It's not the first time we have it in general.
Yeah.
And I think that it's not going to be the last time we're
No, definitely not. It's an ongoing talk.
Yeah, it is. And I think that it will never really end, and I think we'll never really conclude the discussion in general. But always, Alex, diving deep together is just super fascinating, and I'm not sure if I'm in a dream right now or where I am, but just like Alan Watts, I have kind of forgotten that whatever it is, we are here right now and we are together. So,
you don't know if you're the guy watching the butterfly, or if you're the guy watching and imagining is a butterfly, or if you're the butterfly watching the human imagining is a human.
Exactly. Alex, thank you so much, my friend.
Thank you, Pierre.
Take care of yourself, okay?
You too.
All right.
Ciao,
Thanks,
ciao.
everyone.
Ciao.
Bye-bye.
Bye.